All right, now let's talk about trauma and how things actually go wrong. So a lot of us already know that it's not really about the event. It's not the event that actually matters so much. It is what actually happens inside our bodies as a response to that event. It is the dysregulation that happens in our nervous system as a response to the event and the things that happen afterwards. If we are upregulated and we don't discharge the sympathetic energy from our system, that is what causes trauma in our body, especially if they're not processed for 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 as long as it has. So if something stresses out and it was 5 days ago and it's still lingering, that stress response it still hasn't completed its activation cycle. Our bodies are only meant to really go through the stress response for 20 minutes, like max. And if it's chronic and if we're not down regulating from sympathetic nervous system, it keeps on up regulating up here. And then boom, we shut down eventually. Hence the burnout, right? Like we just haven't gone down enough times to keep us in a regulated state. So we overflow and we run out of energy, literally. So it is these unprocessed emotions that actually that causes us to feel the trauma and what lowers that window of tolerance. So over time, if we have not done the work, we're all guilty of this at one point. If we haven't really been able to discharge the energy, this new dysregulation or danger zone becomes the new homeostasis. The our brain saying, or our autonomic nervous system saying, danger, 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 danger has become the new normal. It's kind of like, when you have a new house and you install an alarm system, right? You install an alarm system, and then usually that alarm system just needs to detect break-ins. That's what it's meant to do, right? It's just meant to detect who goes through the door or smashes windows. However, over time, because we've become desensitized, just a little bit of a fly or a leaf blowing through will activate that system just because it has learned to activate with the littlest of things. That has become the new homeostasis. And like I said earlier, that's because we don't have the time to go to the rest, repair, ventral vagal state. We're in the ventral vagal state. This is where all of the rest, digestion, and repair happens. And this is the time in our system where our thinking brain also turns back on. In the dysregulated states, our thinking brain, our logical, rational thinking turns off completely, or it's just lowered in its activity. But when we go back to that ventral vagal state again, that state of 5, even 4 or 6, depending on what you want, these are still good metrics to be in, to regulate. This is where we actually repair and heal. So as I mentioned before, stress is not just psychological. It definitely affects all of the systems in our bodies. So hair falling is a big thing, right? The eczema, the skin changes happen because it's really just a sign that our bodies are overly working on keeping ourselves alive. And as a result, it inflames all of the systems in our bodies. So that's why it's super duper important to manage our stress levels always.